Are your choices preventing cytokine storms? Welcome to BFAB You Made Simple, your daily dose of inspiration designed to help you reinvent yourself by optimizing your body and mind. I am Maria Horstman, a health editor and coach, a fitness trainer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur, founder of BFABBU.com. Our episodes are short and will bring you valuable content and practical nuggets for optimal health and fitness that you can implement ASAP. Let's get you to feel fabulous every day. Are you ready? Check out the show notes to 1, schedule a free call with me to discuss a plan to take your health to the next level. 2, submit a question to be featured in our Ask Me Anything episodes on Sundays. Connect with me on social media and much more. Hit the subscribe button, and if you like what you hear, share with your friends and leave it a rating. Are your choices preventing cytokine storms, which are kind of a form of inflammation? Welcome back to the BFAB You Made Simple. I am your host, Maria Horstman, and I'm also the founder of BFABBU.com. Check it out. And I have a great episode about inflammation, cytokines, and a lot more for you today. So stay tuned. But before I do that, I want to give you a little update first. You might have noticed that I have been spacing out these episodes, and they have all of a sudden, slowly and steady, actually, not become weekly anymore. Well, you are not crazy to think that the episodes are being spaced out. And I want to tell you why. So I've been investing a great deal of time studying for a certification that I started in mid-May or so. Obviously, the time go to my clients and a bunch of other stuff and the certification. And I gave myself an aggressive deadline to complete it within 6 months to cover all the content, practicals, case studies, written exam, verbal exam. There's a lot. And I am glad to report that I'm on track, but something had to give. And the give was the frequency of this podcast. But I'm super excited because I should become a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, FDNP, by the end of November. And the reason I'm excited is because the training has offered me a couple of new tools to consider, which has kind of been leading me to restructure my program offerings. And that is cool because as a fitness and health coach, my job is really to empower and to coach you along the way. And that's obviously a no-brainer to do that. That's what coaches do, right? But ultimately, I'm here to give you a pathway for you to thrive in an optimal level and become a catalyst to others. And I definitely want you to stop any cycle of trial and errors and feel like yourself again. So the soonest I help you make progress in that direction, the sooner you feel better. And that's a win-win for all of us, right? For you and I, as a client and as a coach. That's what I want. Although I hate to let you go, but my job is to make you feel great and empowered so you can continue this journey. And of course, I'll always be here and needed as more bumps come into the way. But, in addition to what I do today, which I use functional biochemistry analysis to make these assessments and help you find healing opportunities. And once in a while, I do testing, saliva test, stool test, and all that. But I'm actually now adding a set of functional lab system that will help us kind of identify malfunctions at a subclinical level and healing opportunities within a few areas that are very important to us, which are the hormone, immune system, digestion, detoxification, energy production, and nervous system. Right from the start, instead of, maybe in the middle of the way or something like that. And that would kind of speed up this process a little bit. This revised program structure will be very helpful for people who actually have tried tons of things, but aren't feeling their best yet. And they haven't got the answers they deserve. And they're tired of the trial and error. They want a natural, step-by-step comprehensive approach that takes actually in consideration, their unique body and circumstances. And yes, in some way I do that today, but I'm putting more into a system, a process, and some these labs to be kind of part of my protocol. Again, that's not for everybody. Some people are going to just start with the normal coaching and nutrition, wellness, exercise, sleep, stress. So again, there's multiple ways to skin the cat over here, right? To help you make progress. Depends where you are, where you want to go. And how invested you are in the process. And by the way, if this sounds like you already, you do not have to wait until I get certified, because I can do all this already. And I'm in just at the final process of the certification anyway, but I can help you right away. So anyway, after I accomplish this big task, which should be in the next, like I said, month and a half or so, or 2 months, I guess, I plan on releasing the weekly episodes again. In the meantime, thanks for your patience, for listening to the show, for sharing this content with your family and friends. And because this really helps me to, grow as a podcaster and continue to give you awesome content, okay? I want more people to have access to this information. So enough about me now. Let's get back to the episode. So last episode, I introduced you to free radicals, oxidative stress with serious potential for tissue damage, because that's what they do. And the most common causes of oxidative stress. And even I shared some lab testing that you can measure oxidative stress. I also explore a few reasons you might want to get a metabolic wellness profile test done, so you know how healthy or not those cells are, okay? And then from that point, you can make, lifestyle changes as needed. So let's dive into the relationship between oxidative stress and inflammation, cytokine storms. I know it's big words here. How cytokine storms can lead to diseases, and simple steps that you can take to prevent these storms and inflammatory diseases that are responsible for most of the chronic inflammation. Okay, are you ready? I hope so, because you are in for a treat. So what is the relationship between oxidative stress and inflammation and how they lead to the disease? So oxidative stress is closely related to inflammation, and they go hand in hand because it is the cause of unstable molecular curriculum. I know, right? And that leads, my friend, to chronic inflammation. So the oxidative stress can activate a variety of transcription factors, which in reality basically is just saying that it leads to an expression of some genes involved in inflammatory pathways. We don't want that, right? So the continuous exposure to high levels of oxidative stress can trigger the inflammation through the secretion of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Yes, cytokines, cytokines, in case you cannot, understand my pronunciation here, my Brazilian accent. Anyway, oxidative stress can have both direct and indirect effects on macrophages. I know, another big word, but macrophages are part of the innate immunity, and they're also a major source of cytokines involved in the immune system. A lot of immune conversation here today. So we'll discuss macrophages, innate and adaptive levels of immunity another time, but right now I want to focus on the cytokines. So the cytokines are molecules that facilitate immune function. That's a good thing, okay? They play a role in pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory actions. So hear me out here. Cytokines are powerful beings, okay? Because they can affect cells close by, cells far away, and even cells that produce them. These little guys. Goodness. So they are produced locally in tissues, and they have a wide systemic inflammatory effects on immune cells. Clearly, you and I do not want a pro-inflammatory systemic effect to get started here. And you might have heard about cytokine storm, have you? This topic has been under the radar a bit because of COVID-19. And so if you have heard about it, know everything about it, hey, keep listening, because there might be more things that you might know about it with me here. So in a nutshell, a cytokine storm happens when we have uncontrolled, prolonged systemic immune response. That nonstop, okay? This scenario creates an overproduction of inflammatory cytokines, which will in turn let more immune cells come to rescue. Although all this sound very positive, okay, and needed to heal the body when inflammation kicks in, or things that trigger inflammation, when the inflammation becomes chronic and prolonged, the severe overflow of cytokines can become pro-inflammatory and create tissue and organ damage. Okay? And since these cytokines have a wide reach, okay, legs everywhere, like those trees that is spread, long ways under the ground, before we know, our cardiovascular system, our GI tract, our neurological systems are at risk. And that is not something you and I want. Ultimately, they can go from playing a very protective role, cytokines, to a very destructive role when the body does not have a chance to do what? Rest and recover from these constant attacks. So hence, here, reducing the exposure to oxidative stress, which we have talked about before, in leading a more anti-inflammatory lifestyle are wise choices, don't you think? So now that leads me to talk about inflammation, because that is a big word. And just like I've talked about stress and not being a villain, the same here we can say about inflammation. Inflammation plays a very protective role in the body. We need it to survive injuries, infections, as the body uses these inflammatory mechanisms to fight intruders. I call them intruders, and repair the tissue and everything else that's going on around it. So the acute form is the most noticeable. We all have gone through this. Acute inflammation response happens with scratches, blisters, cuts, sprains, bones that we break or whatever. Any sort of injury from a sprained ankle to a broken bone, right? So we in a normal body, what happens is, let's say that you have a paper cut. Well, inflammation is triggered and mobilizes resources. You can just imagine your body like, let's go, folks, let's go. Mobilizes these resources to ultimately heal. We feel what? Pain, warmth, redness, swelling, and even a stiffness of the area of the wound. especially when it starts to close, right? So all this happens, over here, and we don't pay attention too much, but it's happening very fast. Just next time that you have a paper cut or any cut, just absorb your body. And depending how deep this paper cut is, might take, 1 or 2 days, but the inflammation will go away, right? It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? I find it beautiful. Look, you got to appreciate your body. You got to look and try to understand what's all going on. It's a great thing when it's working. When it's working, okay, you and I want to facilitate that work process, okay? This machine has got to keep working. But then, we have illnesses, ending with itis, right? Bronchitis, hepatitis, bursitis, colitis, arthritis, and more. Well, these diseases can be either acute or with short bursts of inflammation, or can be chronic with ongoing inflammation, which can lead to actually long-term damage. And we all know about that. We probably know somebody who's got it, or maybe you've gone through this, or you have it right now. So this ongoing inflammation brings me to the discussion of chronic inflammation. And in regards of that, well, chronic inflammation, it's often silent and ongoing for quite some time. Sometimes can be months, years, and it's all going on underneath over here. When we're going back and forth with our daily lives, we might not be feeling these things. But when the damage keeps coming, right, and the repair cannot fully happen, leaving this inflammatory response running a system of healing, that's when things turn ugly and creates more harm. That's when the inflammation gets out of whack. It starts, by damaging our tissues and then causes stimulation of our immune system and leads to accumulation of damage. That's what it is. And like I had mentioned, ongoing oxidative stress can trigger this inflammatory cascade, which can further lead to a metabolic syndrome in serious illnesses. So more specific symptoms of chronic inflammation, and I want to say also almost like the basic, okay, that we start to feeling is the fatigue, the weight gain or weight loss, muscle and joint pain, anxiety, depression, GI issues, insomnia. All these are symptoms of chronic inflammation. We don't think much about it, but hey, the body is doing its best to keep things up over here, but it starts to slow down, and before we know, the systems don't work very well. So the common inflammatory diseases, okay, that have gone out of whack here after years of inflammation going on are more cardiovascular, like stroke, arthritis, and joint diseases, diabetes, respiratory issues like COPD, cancers, Alzheimer's, which is inflammation in the brain, and even allergies. Yeah, allergies. Yes, I know. And I regret to inform you that the Claritin and the Zyrtec, common, out-of-the-counter stuff here in the United States, they work like Band-Aids, okay? They don't fix anything. They just cover the wound. That's it. In reality, this temporary fix, okay, that we're using on a daily basis, from the Advil to God knows whatever, might really be preventing you and I from uncovering the real problem and preventing us from resolving it for good. You and I don't want that. Okay, I realized that 10 years ago that I was going to go into a healthy path over here to do what I could on my power to prevent this chronic diseases, especially with the family history that I have. I want you to do the same. I want you today to be your wake-up call here with me. Look, when I work with clients, in addition to this testing for oxidative stress, I like to look into the biomarkers that give us clues to inflammation in the body, like the C-reactive protein or CRP, homocysteine, high levels of ferritin, insulin levels. These are all signs of inflammation. And if a person's lifestyle isn't the best and cholesterol has been, not ideal for quite some time, and the person has family history of heart disease, I also like to look into lipoprotein A or little LPA, like people call it as well, because these are signs of that will predispose to cardiovascular disease. But anyway, all I'm saying here is I am looking for anyone's level of optimal health and not an average Joe's normal range of labs, that give you some numbers. I'm not looking for those for you to be normal. You don't want to be looking like a normal either. You want to be optimal. So that's why we're looking to functional, blood chemistry analysis and looking into deeper kind of, or more in-depth biomarkers. And as I have mentioned before, being normal is not what you want. And I don't want that. So I'm begging you here. Do not start attributing fatigue and achiness to what I call the old fart syndrome. Yes, old fart. I love saying that, actually. I call myself a little old fart, as a joke. I might be getting there in the numbers of age, but my heart is very young. But yes, as we age, the body changes, obviously. Our lifestyle choices will have the greatest impact in the speed and the degree that these changes happen. Yes, you are in charge. I'm here to empower you. And believe me, you can do a lot. And here is what I want you to remember. Listen up here. Unless the person around you or the people around you are investing in their wellness, they've been taking consistent actions for the better, and they have a good support system to help you get there, watch out to whose advice you're listening to. I know. I'm here to break the news. Sometimes those advices are not the greatest. Look who is given. I want you to set your goals. I want to set direction of your life, do your research, get your health village together. Otherwise, the suggestions and even criticism of this average person out there, okay, which is maybe according, not maybe, but according to the stats, my not be living their best lives physically, emotionally, and mentally, you might want to watch out. Okay, they might be living with hypertension, obesity, high cholesterol, insulin resistance. They might already be having some diseases and ignoring. Look, you run your race, okay? Run your race being well educated about it. Learn about your body. I know what I'm saying is kind of sad, but that's the reality we live in. And, I don't have a problem saying this out loud here. That said, all I'm saying is do not fall for the it's normal kind of thing. Oh, it's normal not to poop. Oh, it's normal to have this. No. Do not accept this mindset in this conversation. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut because you're going to say things and people get upset. So you know what? You run your race. You might be there to listen once or twice, but you don't let that thing get into you. Listen to your body, take action, and get help as needed. And if you have been listening to your body and your mind, deep inside that you're not feeling your best, if that's the case, obviously, especially you're not feeling your best when you remove stimulants like caffeine, alcohol, medication, recreational drugs, sweets of any kind, cheese, and the perfect addictive processed food bomb, like anyone that combines sugar and fat, ask the question, am I really that well? I mean, once you remove those things, how do you feel? Or you're afraid of removing those things. What is stopping me from changing? Ask that question. What are my excuses? Am I lacking purpose in life? What are my drivers in life to actually not, take a healthier lifestyle, or the drivers to actually start taking this new movement, right? What's stopping me from taking one consistent step towards something healthier in my life? Only one. What is it? Tough questions, I know. I've been there. And I asked them myself. So I had a come to Jesus conversation. That's about 10 years ago. So you might be wondering what an anti-inflammatory diet is. And by the way, let me just tell you, I do not like the word diet. I do not like it in any shape or form. To me, it implies short term, and it has a negative connotation too. Everybody's on a diet. Everybody talks about the diet. It doesn't sound good. It sounds like, oh my God, it's draining. Oh my God, I got to change. Yeah, it's just not good. Okay. I don't like it. But yes, I will say it here and there. I try not to say it, but it is just the word that most people use. People are associated with this word. So anyway, I like the word nutrition. I like a nutritional template. Those are the words I like the most. But to me, diet is not a good word. But when I say the word diet, I don't mean short term. I don't mean something that you're going to start and stop soon. No, what I mean is really nutrition, and I mean something that you can do forever. So when it comes to nutrition and inflammation, I suggest you to lead an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Lifestyle, didn't say diet, okay? Nutrition is one of its legs, because there is more to anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Because let me tell you, my friend, if you have a very abusive relationship with yourself, or somebody in your life is doing that to you, that is inflammatory, okay? We'll talk more about that another time. But I'm not an extremist or purist when it comes to nutrition either. So, because that by itself, it's very, very stressful. God, I mean, those people, I can't do that, cannot do that, blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff, can never, the word never say never, please. However, I do believe when some level of metabolic chaos exists in the body, we must give our bodies a break. Yes, that is a must. We need to give the body time to heal. We need to fuel our cells, and fuel, F-U-E-L. We need to fuel our cells what they need to thrive again. Because when they thrive, you thrive. Okay? So, since we're talking about anti-inflammatory lifestyle and anti-inflammatory nutrition and all that stuff, I want to wrap up today's discussion by giving you five simple action steps you can implement ASAP that will help you do what? Either maintain a healthy lifestyle, to keep inflammation at bay, or reduce inflammation, depending on where you are with your life. And maybe one of these five over here is going to be a lot already for you. So you take step by step, you do you. And as long as you become consistent in one of these things, hey, you then take the next action. And I want you also to focus on adding to your nutritional template first. And then you can think of reducing or swapping or even eliminating if that's what your body needs and where you are right now with your body and your habits, okay? So number one, whole, fresh foods instead of processed. Yes, I had to say it. I had to put it number one. So I also going to say is put a goal of eating 80% of fresh foods. And as you do that, watch your energy and health climb, my friend. Okay. Number two, I want you to consume 7 to 10 servings of fresh, colorful, fresh vegetables and fruits daily. Okay, if you're far from that, that's your goal. All right. Include dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, citrus fruits, purple, red, oranges, vegetables, and fruits. Just go to the supermarket, and look around and you see those beautiful colors popping where your eyes go. Don't walk away. Go to those foods. How can I add more colors? Eat your rainbow. There is a reason for that. So, by the way, start slowly here. If you are not much into the fresh vegetable stuff, you know what I'm saying? The bacteria in your digestive tract needs time to adjust. And if you start seeing some negative side effects, starts bothering your digestive system, once you start eating more of this, you start with more cooked vegetables and slowly progress to raw, okay? But again, everybody's unique over here. You just need to understand that the body needs time to adjust if you're coming from a junk food kind of environment or eating junk food, even if it is once a day, okay? Number 3, I want you to incorporate healthy fats to your meals. Yes, fats are very important. No, the fats are not going to make you fat unless you overconsume it, Yeah, if you eat 40 ounces, 1 pound, of nuts, so that will be a problem, So some of these healthy fats that I'm talking about are the nuts, are the seeds. There's so many out there, avocados, olives, olive oil, even avocado oil, coconut oil. Look, if you can tolerate a little bit of butter, and if you do butter, choose organic grass-fed butter because that has omega-3 fatty acids. And we're not going to dive into fatty acids today, but know that you need lots of omega-3 fatty acids to combat omega-6 that are very wide in most foods out there. Anyway, number 4, I want you to minimize refined carbohydrates like breads, white breads especially, cookies, cakes, cereals, pastries, candies, and sodas. I know, they all taste great, right? That sugar thing, man, I know how it is. I used to be a sugar addict. What can you do instead? What can you add since I'm asking you to add? Look, you can find very healthy versions of all these foods online now. And you can also look for recipes. There's a ton of things you can make. Hey, make it a date with yourself or with somebody else, and cook something healthy. It's a nice little break for you. As far as sodas, if you drink sodas, how about grabbing like one of those unsweetened seltzers? Add some fresh fruit, or maybe a touch of fresh juice. And if you need a little bit more sweet in it, grab some, add some, drops of stevia or monk fruit or something like that. Okay, there's always options. Open up your mind, okay? Lastly, number 5, if you eat animal protein, please, please, please invest in the quality of your meats, okay? That was one of the first things I did too. You got to go, my friend, to look into your budget. And I want you to choose organic grass-fed meats. And if you are not going to do that, stick to the very, very lean meats, okay? As far as poultry, choose organic or very, very lean poultry. As far as eggs, yes, pay a few more bucks for it. Get pasture-raised organic eggs. There is such a thing, pasture-raised organic eggs. Your chickens, they want to be eating the little things, on the ground, in bugs, and not being fed junk, because that junk is going to come to your eggs and everything else related to that chicken. And if you do fish, I want you to choose wild-caught fish. There is so much harm into farm-raised fish. Please, I would say stop that. Lean meats actually will be better than farm-raised fish. So yes, these things are more expensive, But you know what? Like I said, invest, right? This is an investment in your health. This is almost like an insurance to yourself. So, and also keep in mind, you don't be eating this every day. And if you say that you do every day, well, maybe it's time to kind of give your digestive system a little break on animal protein too. But you can also, like most people, they only need 4 to 6 ounces of animal protein, and that's enough. Okay, my friends, so that was my piece of content for today. You want to stay tuned because next episode, I will continue the discussion on immune system. And we'll talk about innate and adaptive immune response, macrophages, little guys. They're important to us. You're going to learn a lot more about them. And also the relationship with weight gain and insulin resistance. Yes, got to talk about my insulin and all that kind of wonderful stuff. So thanks for listening. And if you found this information valuable, share with somebody, one person, pick one person and send that link. Okay. I would love for you to leave us a rating too in iTunes. I think that's the only place you can leave ratings for podcasts is in iTunes or Apple Podcasts. So go in there and leave us a 5-star, please. That will help us kind of, spread this podcast, reach out other awesome people just like you. Okay. Be well. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao, Bella or Bello. For listening to the BFAB-BU Made Simple podcast. Can you do me a favor? If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend and leave it a rating. It helps the podcast and I really appreciate it. If you're wondering where to start, head over to my website, linked in the show notes, to sign up to receive encouragement, tips, and strategies to maximize results. While you're there, download a free health guide to get you started today. If you're looking for a coach and trainer to help you optimize your weight, body, and health, get on my calendar. Let's discuss your goals, establish a custom plan, implement it, and celebrate your results. Together, we can do this. Find the link to schedule a free energy audit strategy session also in the show notes. Connect with me on social media. I would love for you to let me know that you're listening to the show. Also, see the show notes for the links. In addition to a qualified healthcare practitioner, it's important that you have someone in your corner who is in for you and will help you to plan and stay on track implementing your goals. Are you ready? Let's rock and roll this boat. I will see you on the next episode of BFAB-BU Made Simple. Just a reminder that this podcast is for educational purposes only. This podcast is not a substitute for health care by a doctor or other qualified medical professionals. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services.